booties for black girl nerds.
Thank you so much. Katori, thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited to see you. I'm so excited to be back at the Pynk and going to Chucalissa. I am ready for it all. But congratulations on season 2. How does it feel to be on the other side now after just a crazy season 1 and the reception that people had to it?
I just feel so blessed. I mean, no one could have imagined or guessed that type of success was going to happen. Like, I was gonna be happy if one person watched the show. We ended up having millions of people watching the show, and the fact that people are still bumping Mississippi Pride in their cars. It just feels so wonderful. I'm happy that people love these characters like their own family members. Nicco will tell you, he'll be walking down the street and people be like, Uncle Clifford, and he have a mask on and people still know that. So like I said, just feel so blessed because not everybody gets to do a season 2. So I'm just grateful that we're stepping into the next stage of our storytelling journey and getting deeper into the lives of our favorite Chucalissans.
Yeah, they are. That is exactly what I wanted to touch upon. It's just this connection that we have with all these characters. There was this preconceived notion at season 1, like, oh, what is this show about? Strippers. But it was just a kind of like a microcosm. It just reflected the relationships that we all have in our lives, whether it's a difficult relationship with parents or trouble at work or conflicts with coworkers or finding love, or there was just so many wonderful elements to this show. How do we this season deepen that connection with these characters, because now we've become very attached to them?
Yeah, I think, folding in the pandemic and the fact that we get to go home with all of our characters was the way to get into their hearts and into Uncle Clifford's closet. The fact that we are connecting with them on a level where their masks are off and we get to see just why they love the way they love and what matters the most to them. One storyline in particular that I'm really excited about is, the story of Keyshawn and why she stays with her abusive baby father. So I'm excited for people to understand our characters a little bit more, because the humanization project is so real with this show. And like you said, a lot of people, they probably thumbed their noses at our show when they saw the season 1 teaser. But over these past 2 seasons, they're going to be like, oh my God, where is season 3? I want more of these amazing characters.
Absolutely. I feel like at the core of all of these relationships between all these characters is some type of love and what love looks like to different people. Parental love, whether it's good or bad, romantic love, new love, old love. There's love, so much love is at the core of these, whether it's toxic or healthy or otherwise. Is that a fair assessment that that's a centering thing for all of them?
Absolutely. I actually think the core of the show is intimacy. The fact that we're in a strip club and there is the illusion of intimacy juxtaposed against the reality of intimacy. I love, this back and forth relationship between Uncle Clifford and Murda. I love us kind of digging into toxic family relationships like the one Mercedes and her mother has. And then, sisterhood is something, the love between Black women, the love between all women. I do think love is an engine and the fuel of our show.
For sure. Katori, I could talk to you for hours, but I can't, unfortunately. Thank you. Congratulations on season 2. Marvelous, marvelous, and just happy you're back. Thank you for your time.
See you soon.
Thank you so much. Oh, welcome back. I'm sure you guys are going to hear this 100 times over that we're so happy that you're back. We ready to go back to Chucalissa, to the Pynk, to get all the things going. But now we have a different relationship with all these people. They were strangers, and now we're fully invested into all of you. Beginning with you, Brandee, from Mercedes, it's been a balancing act of trying to find their path, dealing with trauma. There's so many things going on. What does growth and deepening our relationship with Mercedes look like in season 2?
Whew, it looks like a roller coaster ride. It's real and it's authentic. Kind of like our lives. It is our lives. You know, you've got that day where you're just like, things are going great. And then it's that day like, Jesus, I'm at rock bottom now. You know, so I feel like that's you're going to feel with Mercedes, just that roller coaster ride. But that light comes at the end of the tunnel for sure.
I'm happy. It was really beautiful to watch us know all of you, particularly the two of you, and really getting in touch with the backstory of what's shaping both of your characters. Nicco, for you, for Uncle Clifford, it was so refreshing and eye-opening to see a gay love story, how it goes down, the trials, the tribulations of trying to live out loud, but having to keep that inside. Does that love story expand? How does it become even more difficult as Little Murda gets more popular and Uncle Clifford is trying to hang on to this establishment that he's invested so much in?
Well, I think that season 1, you know, you like you said earlier, you got to meet all the characters and you got to experience what those relationships are like in the infantile stage. When you guys come back and you are at the Pynk with us starting June 3rd, it is a whole nother journey. It's 5 months later. So I'll say that it's 5 months later. And in those 5 months and in this pandemic, I think that both Uncle Clifford and Lil Murda everybody has been going through so much, you know, just in life and in the world. I think that inevitably changes how you move. You know, you start to learn what is of value and what you will work for and what you need to really bring into your life. And sometimes that is space. Sometimes that is peace. And you got to do what you have to do to create that. And I think both of those characters specifically are working on that while maintaining the business, keeping some money going in. And, you know, you have to find your own interpersonal joy before you can start to reflect that with any partner.
For sure. Yeah. Brandee, in season 1, the Pynk was like a really tight, close-knit group of people who've been together, and this interloper sort of comes in with Autumn, comes in and kind of shakes these things up. Is it still that vibe? Can she be considered part of the inner circle now? Because her presence there upset a lot of things.
Yes and no. When you finish the season. I believe that what's beautiful about this season is you're going to see this different relationship between Mercedes and Autumn Night. You also see it I believe it started in episode 6 of season 1. So you'll start to see that friendship that is forged in different ways. And even with her and some of our core dancers, her interactions with the girls at the club, and how, you know, they look to her and ask her for guidance when Uncle Clifford isn't around as well. So she is in there, but she barely in there. And she might be on her way out sometimes too. You just never.
Barely.
Yeah, just barely.
Barely in there. And for Uncle Clifford, they just stress him so. Like, just stressing him all the time, trying to keep the club going, dealing with aging parents, dealing with love. It's just so many things that are happening. Is there a sense of balance? Can Uncle Clifford have any peace, any balance? Is that even a possibility?
I think that's the question that everybody who watches the show, male, female, non-binary, gay, straight, pansexual, whatever, they asking the same thing. Lord, can I get some balance today? Can I get some balance today? I think that, you know, Uncle Clifford definitely juggles with that. You know, I think a lot of times being a caregiver, you can oftentimes put other people's needs in front of your own. You know, Uncle Clifford has that extreme maternal energy and all of that going on, disciplinarian, lover, all the things. So I think she tries to find the balance, but the state of the world and the situations, and listen, you got to keep the lights on. You got to keep the lights on. I think that the balance is definitely shifted because of this pandemic, you know, being 5 months later and we're in the heart of the pandemic of it all. I think it's different when you're asking, how can your business survive, as well as all of these people that you love? What happens if this business is just not you that goes down, if this ship sinks? So it's definitely tightrope walk underwater.
Yeah.
Woo-wee. Well, I'm so happy you guys are back. I want me a pink mask. I want something from Pynk. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it. And congratulations on season 2.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, because if we didn't meet, I feel like I watch your stuff. So I'm here. Yeah, you know.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much. Just have a wonderful season. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Ooh, my wheelers and dealers, my schemers and playmakers. And I love that about both of your characters, because you need that tension. Can't be all booty shaking and fun at the Pynk all the time. Beginning with you, Elarica, Autumn's arc last season was phenomenal to me, in that it was just so unassuming, and this poor girl just showed up in the streets with no one to defend her, and she ended up being the boss by the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the journey of season 1, what most surprised you, if anything, about the fan reaction to Autumn's elevation from someone who just wandered into owning the whole thing?
I know. You know, even at the very beginning, when I read the backstory, when I had conversations with Katori just about, you know, where Haley was from, and then seeing how season 1 panned out, I was just so excited to give some of that information to the fans, because for so long they were like, who is this woman? Like, you know, she's changing her identity all the time. What is she hiding? What is she running away from? That's always very fun for me, because I know I have to hide this big secret from everybody. But I knew that at some point I was going to be able to show this, and season 2, reading that script, was like, okay, here you guys go. Like, here's the boss. And we saw a bit of it the last season. And I think people were like, wait, hold on. She's the boss now, but we still don't understand how and why. Like, who is this woman? And I think that was the question on everyone's lips. And this season, we finally get to answer it.
Yeah, we get to dig beneath the surface. And same with you, Parker, for Andre, political aspirations, just trying to be a boss, also in a different respect and with more political implications. When you think about politics in general and the things that go on behind the scenes, how much of any political things you've witnessed inform how you bring Andre to life? Because small city politics is some serious business, more than people know than what they see on the grander scale.
For sure. I mean, from small towns to big cities to international relations. I mean, there's always something shady going on. I mean, there's just something. I mean, the type of people who want to be in a leadership position anyway takes a certain personality type, and then what they do to get there. I mean, you know, we saw House of Cards, which is quite pretty real. Yes, I mean, we explore a little bit of Andre's machinations within, or like in the behind the scenes. I wish there was more, actually, because I'm like, yo, it would be a little shadier. But who he has to partner with, we do see who he gets into bed with and what he's willing to do. So I mean, it's you know, as ever, very authentic, and yeah, it was fun to play.
For sure. Elarica, what for Autumn and Andre, you know, they have a connection. They have a definite connection that we saw in season 1. What do you think is the real connecting thing? Obviously, they're physically attracted to each other, but there is something about them that they can tap into with each other that's very different from how they interact with other people. What do you think that thing is?
I think, ultimately they're soulmates in some kind of way. And I believe you can have more than one. And I think Andre is one for Autumn. And, she arrives needing safety, somewhere where she can just be herself and she can be honest. And that's what Andre was for her. The first time she meets him, she tells him her name and she's like, she knows I can't do that. I shouldn't do that. And, this season, you'll see that there's more conversation about that. So the fact that she does that, there's something that draws her to Andre. And I really just think it's like a safety that she hasn't really had before. And, you see how their love story moves throughout the season. There is that kind of soulmate feeling between the two of them.
For sure. I feel like the same for him. He can be free too in a way he wasn't before.
Oh yeah.
Thank you guys. Have a phenomenal season 2. Very happy you guys are back. I love this show and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for your time. I'm so happy to see the two of you. You're probably going to hear that 1,000 times over the next week because we've been waiting to go back to the Pynk and go on the road with Little Murda and Miss Mississippi. Goodness gracious. But congratulations on season 2. Beginning with you, Shannon, we've learned a lot about Keyshawn from season 1 into season 2. She's attained a new level of popularity and getting in touch with what that means for her personally and trying to navigate what she has going on outside of the Pynk. Is this next chapter for her a chapter of empowerment, of growth? Does she feel like she still has to hide aspects of herself and her life? What does season 2 mean in terms of deepening our relationship with her?
Oh, Keyshawn takes you on a ride this season. It's all kinds of ups, downs, twists, and turns. You're rooting for her. You're screaming, damn it, Keyshawn. It's all over the place. But in a really beautiful way. I don't know if she's hiding, really. I think you really see her make every effort to be free, for whatever that means for Keyshawn. And I think she's looking for freedom in many ways. You see her just living in all her glory and enjoying the success that's come from this really great viral moment that she's had with Lil Murda. You get to see them on tour for the first time, which is absolutely, I think if you've seen episode 3, that little surprise, like in the middle of the tour, where it just turns into something different, was really, really exciting and really cool. And yeah.
I'm just so happy to see you guys back. J. Alphonse, for you guys are truly, you and your character and Keyshawn are really partners in the struggle. Their fates are entwined together. They're trying to increase their popularity, but they have secrets that are going on in their personal lives that could affect this growing popularity and stardom. Is that what is that place to derive from for him this season? Is it going to be a place of hurt, of happiness? How is he going to juggle trying to reach this popularity, but still can't have that true happiness that he wants to have with Uncle Clifford?
I think it's all of the above. It's one of those things where we see him high, low, mid, you get a chance to, I was saying this earlier in the interview, it's a very great opportunity as an actor to be able to show all of what you can do. and your range. And so this season, Katori has given me that opportunity, and Little Murda's arc, you see that, you see him go through it all. And there's a lot of surprises in there that I can't talk about, but, even navigating his relationship with, we don't know what that relationship is going to be yet, but navigating, this pending relationship with Uncle Clifford and dealing with all the other things that come into the space while he's on tour, and then while he's sitting at home during the pandemic, we see him deal with that. So you see him on all levels, which like I said, I'm just extremely grateful for. I think the audience is really going to enjoy it. The tour is amazing. The music is crazy. And then you just have these very dark and scary moments too, that I think everyone be sitting on the edge of their seats, waiting to see what happens. And I would say Little Murda, his secrets are, unfortunately, in the community, have to be kept a little closer to home, and Keyshawn's, hers end up being a little bit more on Front Street, and people start hearing about what happened on Murda Night and how she navigates through that. So it's nice to see both of them, fight for their truth and fight for their peace,
Mm-hmm. Now, lastly, Shannon, being on the other side now, beginning season 2, when you reflect on season 1, are you surprised? I know you're happy and excited that it was received so well, but were you ready for just how big it got for all of you after season 1?
No matter what, you can't prepare for that. Like I read the script and had conversations with my castmates, and we were all saying like, this show is gonna be big. It's gonna be huge. We're gonna be so excited. Like we were excited about this show when it wasn't even called P-Valley. It was called Untitled Katori Hall Project, and they picked my broke ass back in 2018 and just gave us a shot, like all of these actors who are just relatively unknown. When it premiered though, I didn't think Lizzo was gonna grab a few of her friends and dress up like us for Halloween. Like you don't expect that. I didn't think people were gonna get tattoos of Uncle Clifford's rules on their arm. Like you just cannot prepare yourself for people having P-Valley watch parties and all of that, and people screaming when they see you out in public. Like that is something that is just, it's such a treat. It's really such a treat. And yeah, I've been enjoying every bit of all of this love that we're getting.
Well, you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful season 2. We're going to manifest season 3 now. And I thank you all for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.